Hi, this is my English 355 pre-departure vlog. I'm so excited because it's my last vlog before we leave. In this vlog, I will be discussing the Little Black Book of Griselda Disraeli. It's an interview. It's written by Jean-Luc Hennig, translated by Ariana Reins, and includes narratives and the Little Black Book of the anarchist horror of Griselda Disraeli. I'll also be discussing Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale and Teresa Torres's Women's Barracks. When thinking of what to say in this vlog, I had a really hard time connecting the three because they're all so different. They each take place on a different level with a different perspective. For example, The Handmaid's Tale is really a story of society exemplified with Offred. Women's Barracks is a tale of a group of women living and expressing their sexuality together, and the Little Black Book is a tale of one woman in her life as a prostitute. It doesn't show you the rest of society as well. On the same note, they're each told from a different perspective. For example, Margaret Atwood's perspective is The Handmaid's Tale. It's from Offred's perspective, but Margaret Atwood did not live in the Republic of Gilead. Similarly, Teresa Torres, she is present in this novel, but she never speaks of her really, in detail, of her own experiences, of her sexuality. It is simply recounting the tales of the women around her. And the Little Black Book of Griselda Disraeli is an interview. It's her first-hand accounts, tailored by an interviewer, but it's her story. So it's very hard to see the comparison, to see similarities between them. They do each discuss sexuality, but you have The Handmaid's Tale discuss the forbidden sexuality and the longing for sexuality that's been taken from the women. You see a unique, curious, innocent sexuality with Ursula in Women's Barracks, and you see a very finely honed, practiced, mature, assumably straight sexuality in Griselda Disraeli's interview. I'm going to start with The Little Black Book because it's the one I haven't talked about yet in vlogs. It really makes you think if prostitution is liberating, because while she talks with power and finesse about each one of her clients, she also recounts her multiple suicide attempts and overdoses. And while that is not connected to prostitution, it makes me think that her life wasn't as liberating as she may make it seem. It seems sad almost sometimes. That being said, she is in control of these men, which is so great to see, especially in comparison to Handmaid's Tale. She keeps a book to know who they are, where they are. She knows their bodies better than they do. And not only that, she is an activist. And while prostitution was already legal in Switzerland at the time, people, just like they do today, didn't know how to feel about it, just like I don't know how to feel about it. She was an activist to change people's minds, to make them think that what she did was okay morally. She fought against the patriarchy, the feminist, anyone who tried to restrict her own sexuality, and I think that's the liberating part of her life and her profession. You really gain respect for her as you read this book. That was my main reaction, was how cool she was. She made these men respect her. They weren't afraid of her. She knew how to protect herself against rape, against getting stabbed, she recounts once. I think that is that's something that we don't see in media. In the media, we don't see older women getting respect for their sexuality or even for their profession, sexual or not. So that was a unique thing. I really appreciated it. Switching gears to Women's Barracks, the thing you notice almost right away is that it's not lesbian erotica. It is not an epic love tale between two women. It is people living together and developing and exploring lesbian relationships, which I think is almost better. It normalizes lesbianism and is not some erotic facade that's written to arouse you. It's just what happened in an all-women's barrack. And I think that is a new perspective that certainly straight people don't really experience in mainstream media. One thing that did bother me about the book was Ursula's age. She was just coming on 16 when the story began. And she has the innocence, the respect, and the description of a 9-year-old. She isn't treated like a young woman. She is treated like a child, which is why then having sex with her doesn't seem appropriate. It seems like pedophilia. Claude knows too much, and she isn't communicating that knowledge with Ursula, which is all Ursula wanted. Ursula wanted to understand why she got shivers when she was touched that way. And Claude didn't give her that. She took away this child's innocence, and whether or not Ursula wanted that, it was uncomfortable for me to read. I think my other reflections of women's barracks have been broadcasted in other videos, so I think that is the end of my reflection. One thing I want to end with one question I have for each book. To Teresca Torres, I would ask what she learned about her own sexuality during that experience. Did she ever question her sexuality, seeing as that she is now married to a man? Did she explore? Did she become curious like Mickey and Ursula? So that's my question for Ms. Torres. To Jean-Luc Hennig, I would ask him what inspired him to write this book, to interview Ms. Rial, and how he thinks it could impact the world, and if he thinks it has. And to Professor James Darcy Piazzotto and the new society after the Republic of Gilead is overthrown, I would ask how their society has adjusted and changed in a response to the Republic of Gilead's reproductive restrictions and limitations. If their society is more liberal than ours and more accommodating, or if it's just the same as our current society but more aware of the repercussions. I look forward to seeing everyone in Amsterdam next week, and I'm so excited to meet you all.